down the women. He tracked down Mary Kelly, said Sickert, with the aid of a painting of her. And the third man, according to Sickert, was none other than Sir Robert Anderson, who was the Deputy Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. But that turned into something different when I started investigating it. It was that was a very weird.
There's a twist coming up.
That's right. Yes, there is.
We've got the police photo of Mary Kelly's room from the outside, taken at the time of the murders. And
So this was her home?
This was her home, just a single room about 12 feet by 10 feet, with a single bed in it. And she lived in that room. And here's a contemporary 1888 drawing of what she was supposed to have looked like, standing at the doorway of her room. And you can see here a broken window. She had a fight with her live-in lover, Joseph Barnett, around about the end of October. And at that time, the window got smashed, and you can see at the time of the murder, it was still broken.
And did you say something about how at one point the boyfriend was a suspect?
The boyfriend, Joseph Barnett, has always been a viable suspect. A lot of people tried to make him Jack the Ripper. I think if indeed he did kill Kelly, it was in probably a fit of rage, and then realising he'd be the number one suspect, he decided to make it look like a Ripper murder, so he terribly mutilated the body, and thus it was believed to be another Ripper murder. That is if that theory is correct. But of course, like all the theories, you can argue, and nobody entirely agrees. So to most experts, most people who study the case, Mary Kelly is in fact the last Ripper victim, as she is in the movie.
She does look a bit like Heather Graham, doesn't she?
That's a rather dramatic artist's impression of the body being found by Mr. Bowyer, who worked for McCarthy, the landlord. He looks through the window, pulls the muslin aside and sees the body on the bed and is obviously very shocked. And here you can see the doctors and the police examining the body on the bed.
Is her being apprehended by them?
Yes, it's got a little caption there, lured to the slaughter. Again, very dramatic, and a reward notice on the wall there, and it's an idea of the killer picking up Mary Kelly on the street before murdering her. And again, here's another drawing. There was a witness who saw Mary Kelly with a man at about 2 a.m. on the morning of her murder, and he gave a description to the police, and this is the drawing from that description. He said it was a Jewish-looking man, which is shown here with very richly dressed, gold watch chain, astrakhan-lined coat, the whole bit. It was, according to that witness, quite a well-to-do looking person who'd been with her just before she was murdered. In the case of Kelly, the last murder, where the mutilation was most extensive, quite a lot of her face was removed. Yeah, the nose was cut off, the lips, and parts of the forehead peeled off, so there wasn't a lot left of her face. She was unrecognisable. And here you see a copy of Mary Kelly's death certificate, which is dated the 9th of November 1888.
Next on the list goes Neil Cream the poisoner. Well, this should be fairly easy to dispose of. Neil Cream was actually locked up in prison in Chicago at the time of the murders. Not so say his supporters. He had a double. It was his double that was locked up. Neil Cream, they say, was over here doing the Jack the Ripper murders. So Neil Cream's name goes on the list.
You know, my brother's new theory about who did it is that because of
a recent name to be added to the list of suspects, this one I find really bizarre, is that of Lewis Carroll. The author of Alice in Wonderland has now been named as Jack the Ripper.